Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, when the store is quiet, I get to chat to my friends about the films and the series that we're loving. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
How's it?
Good morning, Russell.
How are you, my G-Force?
I'm alright, dude. How are you?
I'm lekker, man.
Good.
I'm starting... It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yes.
It's kind of snuck up on me.
Really?
No, for the longest time I was like, I can't believe it's December. And now, like, there's been enough pageantry
Yes.
and enough Mariah Carey in the shopping malls. I'm starting to feel it.
Okay.
And of course, the sun's coming out now.
Yes.
So yeah. Welcome to the video store. Thank you for
Yeah.
wandering in. We've got lots of Christmas classics on the shelves here. We'll try and find you something to rent.
Yeah.
We've got ourselves a Graeme G-Force Hackney with us today,
Hello.
who is an editor and the producer of this podcast. My name is Russell. I'm the owner of The Bioscope, which is an independent cinema here in Johannesburg. We've got some lovely things to talk about. I actually wanted to tell you, Graeme, I met the most interesting dudes.
Oh, cool.
There's two fellas, very cool. One guy's got such a cool name, Zenan Robinson,
Oh.
and his pal Dennis. And they're these two very cool dudes from the States
Okay.
who wandered in the other day, and we were just chatting about film and everything. And it came out near the end of the conversation that
Yes.
Zenan works for Pixar
Oh, cool.
and is a sound designer, sound editor.
Okay.
And so I've convinced them to come back and give us a visit.
Very cool.
Because I just think while these people are in town,
Yes.
it's lovely to talk about what they do, and especially when you are able to pick the brain from someone that's had this first-hand experience
Yes.
with sound on such a big level.
Yeah.
He said he's at Pixar and he's now moving to Lucas Sound.
Okay. Skywalker Sound.
Skywalker Sound, which is so
Yes.
cool.
Cool.
He said it's going to be under Lucasfilm, but it's Skywalker Sound. That's right. So yeah, they'll pop in a bit.
Cool.
But yeah, we can have a little chat in the meantime.
Nice.
We always like to kick things off with a little, hey, did you guys see?
Yes, we do.
So we'll get into that. I want to tell you about J. Kelly,
Oh, okay, cool.
the Netflix film, the Noah Baumbach Netflix film.
I didn't even know it was out.
Yeah, starring George Clooney,
Yes.
Adam Sandler. That's a lovely one to talk about. I finally watched Train Dreams.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, Netflix has got a few goodies.
Nice.
I want to tell you about a really stupid Christmas movie that
Okay.
Leslie and I watched, just because it's I want to unpack it. It's hilarious.
Okay.
What do you want to chat about?
Mostly just how did you guys see stuff?
Okay,
There's
lovely.
quite a few stories to talk about.
Okay, let's kick it off.
Okay, obviously, the big one of the week. Hey, did you see that there's a very good chance that Netflix is going to be buying Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
People are saying, oh, Netflix bought Warner Brothers. It's like,
They
no,
haven't,
they've
yeah.
bid for Warner Brothers.
Yes.
They now have the exclusive rights to bid for it, and now they're hashing things out.
Exactly, yeah. So it's been very interesting to talk to a few people about this. My wife has had a career in finance,
Okay.
and most recently in mergers and acquisitions,
Right.
M&A, as they say, out in the streets, and in private equity. So she understands this.
Okay.
And yeah, so there's this very important part where you weed out all the other bidders, and you now have this exclusive period with the final bid.
Yes.
But yeah, it's certainly not a done deal.
No.
They've got to do a whole bunch of due diligence.
Yeah.
They're going to hash out and argue exactly how much Warner Brothers is worth.
Yep.
And there could be some, like, sort of, you don't know, but in these cases, they can often be sort of quite malicious intentions,
Yes.
and nasty things can kind of happen in this period. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. The one thing I thought is worth maybe mentioning at the start is, why is Warner Brothers even for sale? Why would someone even want to sell that?
You know, it's the theory for a long time, and I've been saying this a few times on the show, is it felt like ever since David Zaslav was made CEO, I think he's CEO of Warner Brothers, it's felt like he's been prepping it for a sale.
Yeah.
It's like he's been stripping it for parts, basically, to like
Yeah.
get it to the point where it's actually... Because Warner Brothers has had a long run of very bad years.
Yes.
Like, bad years. This year, in particular, was a big turnaround for them. 2025 was huge for Warner Brothers.
And what's funny is that, it's not like a normal business where it's like, oh, how do we cut costs? How do we
Yes.
make our processes better,
Yeah.
or better quality burgers, or like it's so flippant.
Yeah.
And I don't, I think Minecraft, which was their big success at the start of the year,
Yes.
could have done just fine.
Yeah.
But some things that are completely out of your control made it $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
The chicken jockey, the inside joke, the kids going crazy in the cinemas, and the sort of memification of this movie, which
Yeah.
you can't make memes, you can't create viral. That has to happen organically.
Exactly.
So it's such a difficult thing to cost. The best you got is the IP, which is like things like, okay, well, we own
Exactly.
Bugs Bunny. How much
That's
is that
something
worth?
Warner Brothers has a lot of.
We've got the rights to Batman.
Yeah,
How much
well, they
is
own
that worth?
DC Comics. They own DC
Oh, they
Comics.
own it. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was just
No,
they've
they
got the
bought
license.
DC back in the 80s.
So they own it. So we
Yeah.
own Batman. How
They
much is
own
Batman
HBO.
worth? Yeah.
So they have Game of Thrones. They own Harry Potter. They have all of that stuff. They have a ton of IP.
Yeah.
That is like their biggest value is their IP.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is that in this period of time, Warner Brothers can't do any crazy drastic change to their business because they are
Yes.
busy being evaluated.
Yeah.
So there's the argument that Netflix could be putting them out on a line and wasting their time if this thing falls apart.
Yes.
Because then they've been stagnant for a year and haven't managed to evolve or progress,
Yeah.
and then they come out of it worse.
Exactly.
So you could do this in an evil way out in business. You could become the final bidder only to purposefully, screw over the person who thinks they're being bought.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't think it's that, but you never know.
Yeah. It's also going to be complicated by the fact that Paramount was bidding as well. And Paramount are now basically, apparently, going to attempt some sort of hostile takeover because they want Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So they're going to go through essentially like try and get shareholders, because there will have to be a shareholder vote on whether or not they're actually acquired. Paramount is going to try and force it so that shareholders vote for them as opposed to voting for Warner Brothers. Voting for Netflix.
Wild.
And the thing is, Paramount has the backing of the president. For whatever reason, Donald Trump wants Paramount to get it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Because this is also going to have to go through like antitrust.
Yeah, and the monopoly.
Yeah,
kind
exactly. That's where the big problem comes in.
The Competition Commission is a big part of South African law, which has got to make sure that whatever you're doing now doesn't screw over monopolies or competition. And
Exactly.
Leslie, my wife's had a few instances where things have been delayed because of the Competition Commission, and everyone can kind of get screwed over by the results of these decisions. So
Exactly.
it's huge, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. Look, no matter what happens, I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
This whole thing of studio, become like reducing the number of studios to like, there's no longer like 20 companies making movies. There's actually like 3. They just fall under different umbrellas.
Yeah.
They just kind of...
I'll never forget visiting Disney World, and you get given this band.
Oh, yes.
That you wear, basically like a Fitbit.
Oh, yes, okay.
And that's got all your details on it. And you scan that to go into the parks. When you buy things, you can just scan that because it could have your account details. And
Yes.
And they've optimized things like, for example, in the gift shop, you can have what you buy go directly to your hotel room.
Okay.
Just so that you're not weighing down by everything that you've bought, so that
Yes.
you could actually spend more But I'll never forget just having this feeling when I was scanning my wrist in, where I was like, yeah, when Disney takes over the world,
Yes.
when the overlords are ruling us,
Yeah.
we'll all have this, and we'll just go through society with these Fitbits. Funny. Hey, did you see the trailer for The Faraway Tree?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, The Magic Faraway Tree.
Okay.
It's an Enid Blyton book.
Okay.
Andrew Garfield.
All right.
It just looks like a nice big swing at a children's classic.
Cool.
Nice,
Live action
fantastical
or animated?
live action.
Okay.
Yeah, just one of those sort of timeless books.
Cool.
It's getting a nice big trailer.
Okay.
Getting a nice big film.
Nice.
I just thought it'd be worth mentioning.
Cool.
It's out there. It's
No,
coming.
I haven't heard of it. I missed that one somehow.
Yeah, it's on its way.
Cool.
Anything else you want to chat about?
Yeah, there's been a few other trailers. Oh,
Let's hear it.
hey, did you see? I have great news.
Oh, yeah.
You know how the last 2 years in a row, the first movie that we watched each year as the Bioscope was a shitty Jason Statham action movie.
Yeah, usually involving giant sharks.
Well, guess what? We get to continue the tradition.
Lovely.
Because in January is a new Jason Statham shitty action movie.
What is this one called?
It's called Shelter, and it's exactly the same as every other movie.
Okay.
He's a former whatever, and he has to come out of retirement to whatever.
Just to fuck a whole bunch of dudes up.
Exactly the same movie as the last two that we've watched.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Instead of putting down his beekeeping gloves,
Yes.
and then what was the other one where he was
He was like
construction
a construction worker.
worker?
Yes. I think
Yeah.
this one he lives in like a lighthouse or something. That's the impression that I got.
I love it.
Yeah. It's going to be terrible, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And it's called Shelter.
Shelter.
Okay.
There's a few others.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh my goodness, I really want to talk about the Quentin Tarantino thing, but I want to hold off on that. Hey, did you see the trailer for, HBO is doing what they do best and striking while the iron is hot, but did you see a trailer for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
No.
It's another Game of Thrones spin-off.
Okay.
But this one actually
What, a
looks...
TV show?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks much more comedic than the others. It has like shades of A Knight's Tale. It has like that kind of tone to it.
Okay, which was lovely.
Yeah, it's a great movie, but it's about like a peasant dude who's trying to become a knight, basically, but it's set in the Game of Thrones universe. Yes,
Okay.
and it looks way more comedic. Like the trailer is just very jokey, and
Okay.
it actually looks. For the first time since the show ended, I'm like, okay, I might watch this one because there's that other one that's out now. I don't even know what it's called.
Oh, the one that's been going for a while.
Yeah, the prequel one that's been
House
going
of
for a few
Dragons or
That's
something.
it. I haven't watched any of that because I don't care. But this looks
Yeah.
more interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
What? Knights of the?
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed this one. This trailer came out like 3 weeks ago. But did you see the trailer for Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So
That's
this is for the first time in ages, Gore Verbinski is finally directing a new movie.
but not just any movie, one that was shot in Cape Town.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
With
Yep.
I forgot his name. I was going to say Sam Elliott. It's not Sam Elliott.
It's Javek, the guy from Moon
Yes.
and Charlie's Angels.
Yes. How the hell
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. Thank you.
Where he
He's
seems
great.
like he sort of comes from the future.
Yes, he's a guy from the future who's come back in time to tell people that the future is horrible and we need to do something about it.
It looks very cool.
Yes.
I'm keeping an eye out for it on our South African release schedule, and I'm
Okay.
not seeing it
All right.
because I think it's just that sort of smaller in India. But it does look very cool, and I
Yeah.
think it's so rad that it was shot in Cape Town.
Yeah. And I love Gore Verbinski. I think he's really underrated as a director.
Cool name.
Yes. But he's great.
What has he done?
Probably best known for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh
He
yeah.
did the first three Pirates movies. He did The Lone Ranger, which is a very weird but not terrible movie.
That was the famous Disney flop.
Yes, one of several severe flops for Disney.
Yeah.
It did very poorly, but it has maybe the best third act action sequence of all time. The third act action set
The one
piece
that nobody ever saw.
Geez, like it's a whole like train action scene. It is
yeah, I remember.
incredible. It
Yeah.
is so perfectly made. Perfectly made. Okay, then we do have to talk about this. Hey, did you see Quentin Tarantino released his top 20 movies of the 21st century?
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason,
And
this
what was
guy's...
what, number one was Black Hawk Down.
Number one is Black Hawk Down,
That was wild.
which is fascinating. It is such a bizarre list. He has very strange taste.
Black Hawk Down for me was watched once in high school.
Oh, yes.
In a day in the holidays where I can admit to it now. Me and 3 other friends paid for 1 movie ticket at Monte Casino and saw 3. We just stayed in the movies. We timed it accordingly.
Yes.
So that the one was starting when the other one was ending, and we just stayed past the ticket threshold.
Right.
We even packed sandwiches. So I remember eating a sandwich while watching Black Hawk Down. I think I was too young to appreciate how good it is.
It is a very good movie, don't
We
get me wrong.
stuck the book in the gift shop,
Yes.
but I would not have guessed that would have been Tarantino's number 1 film of the century.
Yes.
Wild.
It's fascinating. But it's also getting a lot of attention for what he's been saying about Paul Dano.
Yeah, he ragged on Paul Dano. I
Yeah.
think Paul Dano is
He's a
incredible.
great actor, dude.
He's obviously got some personal grievance.
Yes.
And, there's this lovely line between it is worth paying attention to what Tarantino thinks and says. He is a tastemaker. He certainly has a vast knowledge.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a little bit like Trump, he's just got his opinions.
Yes.
And he's got kind of nastiness in him.
Definitely.
Like he certainly doesn't seem like a pontificator. He seems like a man who shoots from the hip.
Yeah.
So if Paul Dano probably snubbed him, he's probably got him out for vengeance.
Yeah, that's everyone's like, oh, Paul Dano must have turned down a role in the Quentin Tarantino movie. Now
There's no fucking question that he's a good actor.
Yeah, but he was also bad-mouthing Owen Wilson and Matthew Lillard. It's like everybody loves these guys. What are you doing, man?
Sometimes guys just want to be that, the guy that roughs the carpet the other way.
Yes.
Just to be different.
Yeah.
And he's wanted to be that kind of upsetter and...
He's a contrarian.
Yeah, and some people get a little boner out of being that kind of thought person.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch the movie Prisoners and tell me whether or not Paul Dano is not a great actor.
Well, I mean, he was specifically talking about There Will Be Blood. He's incredible in There Will Be Blood. He's amazing in that movie. But some other odd additions to the list: Jackass the movie,
Yeah,
Passion of the Christ.
wild.
Just so,
That's
you should look up the
that's
list. It is
sequel's
so
coming.
Weird.
That sequel's on its way.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of it is set in some sort of abstract purgatory. And
Okay.
seems wild.
Really weird.
Yeah.
But something I did see about that is Jim Caviezel's not in it anymore because he's Jesus in the first one. And if Mel Gibson is going, okay, this guy's a bit much, and I don't want to work with him anymore. My lord.
Then Caviezel's lost the plot.
Yeah, I'll look up stories about that dude. That guy is bonkers.
Wild. Any others?
I think that might be it.
Cool. Let's stock the shelves.
Oh, yes?
I see The Roses has arrived on Disney.
Yes, I did
Which
see
is
that.
kind of where it was always destined to do better.
Probably.
We spoke about it at the time. When we stocked the shelves here, this is us talking about where these kind of films, when we saw them in cinema, where they've now ended up in streaming.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a fun, raucous comedy.
Yeah. It's a rare mean comedy.
Yeah.
It's like a mean-spirited comedy, which it can be, if it's executed properly, can be quite good.
Yeah, which is, it did okay in cinemas, and it had its time, but it's really a nice one for streaming.
Yeah, probably.
Cool, man.
There's a lot of odd stuff on Disney lately, I've noticed this.
Yeah?
Like non-Disney movies are showing up on Disney Plus a lot. The Mummy movies are now on Disney Plus.
Oh,
The Mission Impossible movies are on Disney Plus.
interesting.
It's really, I'm like, what? I don't understand like how these deals and stuff happen,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of non-Disney stuff showing up on Disney Plus, and it's very interesting.
Because the Fox stuff will always end up there.
Yeah, because
Well,
Disney
not
owns
Fox, but now Searchlight. So that's where like the Complete Unknown will kind of end up there.
Exactly. We still call it Fox, but it's not Fox anymore. It's 20th Century Studios now.
Yeah.
Because Fox is now, because Fox News wasn't part of the Fox deal and all that, so Fox is a separate thing. Whatever.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Oh, look, I see the two arriving.
Oh, cool.
Lekker.
Nice.
How's it? Look at you. It's the two of you. It's nice to have you guys back.
Yes, thank you.
You wandered in yesterday, the other day, and it's one of my joys of owning the Bioscope and getting to meet all the interesting people that just wander in. And upon further conversation, it was discovered just how interesting your careers are and what you do for a living. And so I'd love to get into it. And I'd love to just talk to you guys about your trip to Joburg and everything. Firstly, let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah, my name is Zenan Robinson. I'm a sound editor, probably 10 plus years experience. I've been working at Pixar Animation, now at Lucasfilm, and I have my company Acorn Media that also services post-production sound.
Okay. But you call yourself a sound
Editor. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I feel like there's a lot of names for sound people, and it's funny because when you ask a person in sound, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Some of them are editors, they're mix engineers, they're...
What's the pretentious way to encapsulate your job? If you were trying to impress someone.
One would say a re-recording engineer.
Okay.
Re-recording mixer.
Okay.
One may say sound designer, and that's kind of the thing. There are a few. I would say the most pretentious, especially, would probably be, if you're outside of the industry, to tell somebody re-recording mix engineer.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's one of those things because the process of dealing with sound is so vast, and depending on what projects you're working on, depending on the scale or the scope of the project, you may be covering one of 5 positions, or you may be covering all 5 positions.
Okay.
So to have,
But for the most part, are you taking what has been recorded and you're manipulating and editing it, or in many cases in your life, are you recording and creating?
So it really does depend, and
It can be both.
Yeah, it can be both, and it really depends on. I was talking with a friend the other day about just the difference between, because you have live action films, you have animated films.
So you've obviously got a lot of experience with animated.
Yes,
having done Pixar films.
Yes, and some live action as well. Just to key note some of the differences. So when you're having, live action films, and specifically in terms of like what our roles may be, right? You have everything from, say you have small budget film. You may have people on set, kind of recording the scenes, kind of like how we're recording now. So you'd have a mixer, right? So you have a sound mixer. They're part of sound. You're recording all of that. Once all of that footage is recorded, you're recording dialogue and everything. When we get into the editing stages, you may have in live action, you'll have editors a lot of times who will be editing the sounds because they're cutting it to the picture. They'll have the dialogue tracks. They'll have some temporary sound effects, some that may stay, and they'll have music and things like that. And we're still talking live action. So once that's done, we get, let's say, a locked picture. Locked picture, for those that don't know, means that all the edits that the editor has done are completely finished. The story will not change. The scenes will not move. Everything is locked from the beginning of the show until the end credits. Yeah. And that's what we call production. At that point in time, we'll hand it to sound folks in the studio in post-production. So now when, let's say a sound studio gets all these elements for post-production, they're now going to look at that lock picture. That's hopefully not going to change.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
I'm sure that's a pain. Yeah.
Sometimes it does change. But when you get to that stage, you're now seeing this picture that's hopefully not going to change, and we are trying to make it sound the best it can be from the temporary elements, and sometimes that become final elements that we get from the editorial department. So what does that mean in terms of our roles as sound people and our titles, so to speak, right?
Okay.
There are the general, I would say, what most people identify with when they think of sound is the Foley artist.
Yeah. When we first met and were chatting and we were talking about sound and just sound design in general, I was saying that I think if there's one thing in the whole media world, be it films or series or TV shows or whatever, that your general public don't understand happens, like the biggest sort of magic that's created, it's Foley,
Yes.
which is that every creak, every door swing, every footstep in a big budget film is created elsewhere.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
usually not recorded on set.
No. And they'll have what they call production sound effects, which are captured on set just to, again, be for use of editorial purposes. But yeah, everything is recreated. Everything
but like everything.
everything.
And that is so that they could have, so someone like yourself could have all these layers to manipulate and change. Because maybe in a horror, you want to turn that one noise up.
yeah.
Or you want to drown something out.
Or simply because you just want to make people believe
Sure.
the thing that you see. Sometimes it's not even real. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people's idea of, even if they're hip to Foley, they say, "Oh yeah, we just re-record the sound that you see." A lot of times it is a completely different element that is layered in what you see, because our mind can fill in the gaps. Our
Yeah,
mind
the
fills in
famous
gaps.
example is sort of a punch. You
Right.
know, and how a punch always has a sound on
Or bones breaking.
bones breaking.
A lot of
Okay.
times, one of the real classic ones is bones breaking, where you hear that crunch and you're like, "Oh, that sounds so painful," and then you go on set or you'll go behind the scenes and watch the Foley artist do it, and you'll see a ton of grocery bags from from the grocery mart, because
Okay. It's like celery or
he's
something.
gotten celery, he's gotten cabbage, he's gotten carrots, he's gotten all these different things that make these sounds. But when you see it on screen, you can't
Yeah.
differentiate between vegetables and
No.
bones cracking.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, bones may not sound like that. It
Yeah,
may be
no,
more
they
subtle. It may
won't,
be like
yeah.
a toothpick breaking, but we've
Yeah.
been conditioned so much, through film and watching, that this is the way bones should sound, and we go,
Yeah, yeah.
"Oh," but it's not. I think the other example that I told my buddies the other day, we were talking, and it's a really good example too of how you can really make people believe what they see with elements that aren't actually there. If you think about the concept of rain,
Yeah.
in the pitter patter, the rain on specific surfaces, and let's say you have a really rainy day.
Yeah.
One might think, "Oh, we need to go record rain." They'll go wait for a rainy day, or they'll have these catalogs of rain, actual rain, and you'll lay it over the film, and it does sound like rain, but you're like, something doesn't sound. I really want it to sound like like the rain is coming down. I say, close your eyes, and you close your eyes and take a listen to rain, and you imagine it being there, and then you swap it out with bacon frying over the skillet,
Oh, interesting.
and you have 2 or 3 layers of that, and you keep your eyes closed. Sounds like rain.
You wouldn't know.
You would never know the difference.
Bacon sizzling.
Yeah,
That's
because those
amazing.
frequencies, they share the same frequency range. They're all high pitched sounds.
But it's a better sounding rain.
Could be. It depends on it, and it depends on the style of the film, of what you're trying to accomplish. But all that to say, that would be, say, sound design as
Yeah.
well. It could be the components of sound design. It could be Foley, and a lot of times it depending on what you're doing, you may be doing 2 or 3 different jobs at a time. So it's hard to just be like one title.
Yeah.
I like to call myself a sound editor.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But there's so much, again, that I think there's so much that goes underneath that title.
I love asking the question, what do you sort of actually spend most of your time doing? So, like, for example, the perk of my job is coming up with great screening ideas. Oh, let's put this movie on at this time, and this would be great. People could dress up, or people could have this. Being down in the lobby, getting to meet guys like yourself. But what I really do is answer emails.
Yeah.
And book, events. What do you spend the majority of your time doing as a sound editor?
As a sound editor,
Well, like in your day-to-day job, like what do you actually spend most of your time doing? Like what do you need to be okay doing in order to love and do this job?
hearing things over and over. And when I say things,
Okay.
it could be a millisecond of a thing over and over again.
Okay.
It could be a couple
To
seconds.
sort of refine it and make sure that it's right, or
Yeah, to make sure, because again, and to more specifically answer that question, we spend a lot of time making sure that the dialogue is right. You know, as human beings, our ears are attuned, and this may get a little nerdy, but
no, we can get nerdy.
our ears are attuned to the mid-range, right? And as a survival instinct, as we commune with each other, as we've evolved over time as human beings, our ears are attuned to the mid-range, and that's anywhere between, let's say, low mid 400 hertz to, let's just say, 5K, but specifically between that 5 and 2K, right?
Okay.
500 to 1,000 hertz. What that is the human voice, right? Our ability to communicate with one another. And so we do sound design, we mix this, that, and the third. But the most important thing always in a film, unless we're, back in the 30s, or the 20s, is dialogue.
How clear it is.
How clear it
Where
is,
it's
how
coming
intelligible, yes. And we have to understand that to be able to follow a lot of characters who speak to each other throughout the day, right? So primarily, dialogue is what I would spend most of my time on.
Okay.
And what that entails, it's not always at the post-production stage. Oftentimes, it's at the stage that we are right now, right? We're in production, we're recording, we've got our mics set up. Are they leaning on things? Are they...
Are you getting the best performance out of them?
Are we getting the best performance?
I'd imagine with animation, obviously it's not on set, so you've got to, get them in the right place to get the right action. You got to get the right nuance to their voice.
Yes. We have to, and a lot of that in animation, we call that, the terms change now, it's called reference dialogue. It used to be called scratch dialogue. But yes, you're trying to get the best performance out of maybe one of thousands of lines, right? So,
with Pixar, have you been in the room with these recordings?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
they're actually quite fun. And you know what? It's less about what you end up dealing with is a customer service, so to speak, right? Because you're having clients come in.
But these
They
aren't
need to
just any
be-
clients. These are famous folk coming in and recording, right?
Yeah, and but they also have to be comfortable.
Yeah, sure.
They need to, not just deliver their lines, but be in the proper headspace. Making sure there's water for them, and
Who have been some of the actors that have, in your opinion, sort of done it the best or had great moments? Like, what would be out of all the recording sessions with all of the Pixar movies, what's one that stands out as being that was a fun day?
Oh, I would have to say hearing Io Edeberry. She was. Oh, I'm drawing the blank. She was the Envy on Inside Out 2.
She was Envy.
Envy on Inside Out 2.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's really an interesting experience. Just watching them work and seeing just how professional. How professional they are, and that's outside of the the technical aspect of it too. Just the level of professionalism that you have to have just dealing with folks coming in to record and understanding who they may be, their profile, their sound profile, how they may, depending on what the lines are, depending on what they've started with, started their lines on, they may get excited. In their jump. I'll give you an example. So we have, say, a person who's generally very expressive when they start their line.
Yeah.
So they may go, I this, and then they'll start talking like this for every for the same line. So they say, I have to go to the store. They may go, I have to go to the store. I have to go to the store. So, but it's different from person to person.
Yeah.
As an engineer, we have to almost have the foresight to know that they're going to get louder and then get quieter. And we're riding levels. We're turning faders up and down as they speak. So I have to be like, oh no, they're getting ready to, I got to turn them down and then ride them back up. Okay. So a lot of, again, before we even get to the mixing aspect of things, right?
What you capture.
what you capture, and it also helps you become a better engineer down the line too, to understand what you do and don't need to do to dialogue. Because some people may over process it or what have you, but it's always the fine details of the dialogue and making sure that the audience can hear every little thing, and from there, because that is the most important element of the film, oftentimes, then you work everything else around
that dialogue,
and that is what we would call mixing.
Sure.
So that would be completely different from creating sounds, designing sounds, or even the dialogue editing itself. That is now, where does this element fit in the space of what we're experiencing? And I tell people, sometimes we'll meet for, my favorite is when people ask me at lunch, or they'll ask me about these types of, especially the mixing process at lunch, because we can role play what mixing means. Because again, it's so foreign, to people. Sometimes, mixing, what is this? So if we're at lunch, I always like to tell them, okay, we're in a scene, you and I.
Yeah.
I tell them the importance of dialogue, and I say, we're in a scene, we're talking right now. I said, now, what else do you notice?
There'll be the restaurant noise. There'll maybe be the music.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing you learn when you're, let's say when you're younger, you watched those DVD extras and you saw these extra scenes that got cancelled, or the bloopers, and they'd be in a party, but there'd be no music and everyone would be dancing to nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
But they'd be capturing their vocals.
Yes.
But everyone's dancing to sort of nothing, and that's obviously because you want to put in that music later.
You want to put that music in later. And they'll be dancing to nothing, and sometimes in those environments, they'll be saying nothing because they're on set. Live action, they're not hired to have lines. So sometimes they can't make noise, but then you go, but I hear them
murmuring and talking.
Where is that? And that's something that we call loop group or walla. Depending on what it is, where you can have a recording session, kind of like this, where we have a ton of people in the room and microphones pointed, in their
so
space.
That's even recorded.
You have to re-record that as well.
That's fascinating, and it's just, especially another thing that I saw, which was great, was like a National Geographic nature show, where they're filming, these seals which are like on an iceberg, far away. They had to put in all of that stuff as Foley because they can't record the audio as well.
They can't.
It's hard enough just getting the visuals in those things.
Yeah.
Every little water splash, every little time the seal dives in and comes out.
And again, I think we've been just over the duration of sound our history of experiencing sound in films. I think we've kind of become conditioned to hear things in a more exaggerated fashion. So even if we were in the wild and recorded those sounds, for a lot of people watching it, it's not wild enough.
Thing. No, exactly. No, it's one of those real subtle arts that I think most of the world, just has no idea. One thing I wanted to touch on, if you're now moving to Lucasfilm, in the realm of what we're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, but history has said that Star Wars was a famous example of sound design, where for the first time we had to have these lightsabers and shoot these sort of laser guns. And it was just at that point in history where someone was like, oh, we've got to create this noise for probably the first time ever. And you had these engineers that took sort of electricity. I think the one thing was hitting a pole. Hitting a pole, like an electrical pole.
Yes.
And that sort of...
It was Ben Burt.
Yeah,
Ben Burt.
Maybe you can tell the story, but that was what created those sounds that we just had no reference for. We had no idea what to... we now know them as pew pew, but, but before, like, what the fuck was this gun going to sound like?
Yeah, and they were experimenting with to my knowledge, a lot of different things, and Ben Burt come up upon... I believe it was like an electrical coil that he was just kept tapping in, and they go, choom, 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 and they said, oh wow.
It's a little bit like if you throw a stone. Have you ever heard that noise of skimming a stone on a ice lake?
No.
And the way that goes like boom, boom, boom.
Oh,
boom.
yeah,
it's it's that echoey noise.
Yes. Yeah. There's a really good book It's called Star Wars: The Sound of Everything, I believe. And I may be I may be butchering the title, but
Sure.
but it's a really good book. Basically explains the sounds of the original sounds of Star Wars, and it's cool because they have a little mini player inside the
cool.
book
Yeah.
that goes with each page, so
Lovely.
you can click the sounds and experience the sounds as you're reading about them being made. It's a really good. If any sound folks out there, if there's one book that you can kind of wet your feet on sound design,
We'll give a link to it in the
yes,
in
for
the description.
sure.
The other one was also like, what do dinosaurs sound like? And they had to create that, right? So they
Yes.
used elephant trumpeting
Elephants.
backwards, and they
Yeah.
layered it, and that
that's-
must have been such a fun challenge.
I'm sure, and it's another one of those examples too that again sound is so vast, and there are no rules once you know the rules.
Yeah.
Like if your audience can believe it, you've done the job.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the coolest and long-lasting things about sound that keeps people coming back in the field, is that you can be creative in ways, the scene could be shot 5 different times and sound completely different and elicit, 5 different emotions. And it's just a cool, really, really cool space to be in.
That's lovely. What does the move to Lucas mean for you now? Is there something specifically you'll work on?
Yeah, I can, and I can't talk about it for this time. But Skywalker Sound is it's the mountaintop for a lot of sound folks. It's the their legacy is so vast from the Star Wars legacy alone, but doing stuff with Pixar, they've done stuff with they just did award-winning sound for One Battle After Another. Obviously, the Jurassic Parks, they kind of touch everything. So
And it's called Skywalker Sound.
Skywalker Sound, yeah.
It's
So it's a
specific-
subsidiary of Lucasfilm,
Sure.
or it's their sound team, sound studio, where all of the sounds pretty much go through. So it's a really good opportunity to not only contribute but just learn. I think that's if there's one thing that I can go back to your question earlier, what we do as sound folks a lot of time,
Yeah.
we spend most of our time learning
Sure.
and listening,
Yeah.
because sound is ever changing, the tools are ever changing, and you got to stay on your feet, because there's so many different ways to approach sound.
Yeah.
And I think for me, Skywalker is a great opportunity to learn from some of the best. I mean, Bryn Kleiss is one of the best to ever do it. He's worked on, anything from Gone Girl to some of the Pixar films to Fight Club. He's got this. I forget the term, but there was a really cool scene in Fight Club where they're walking to is the area where there was a guy who was going crazy.
Yeah.
And there's this music that's pumping, but there's these really cool echoey effects, and he took this old concept from back in the day where you're recording a recording, and it creates this feedback loop that almost sounds wispy, and it's interesting. I mean,
And what was he trying to elicit in that scene? That this music's coming, or that they're heading towards this music?
well, it was I think the music was feeding into this environment, and it was just creating kind of like a washed out, just this washed out sound, but it really amped up the chaos that the guy in the scene was experiencing. And just a very interesting approach, and being able to not only work with someone that likes him is just an incredible opportunity.
Have you
to
started?
learn. No, not yet.
So you're heading back. So just let's shame. Poor old Dennis has been so quiet in the corner here while we're having this chat. What's the context of this trip? This trip to Joburg. Perhaps you guys can.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I would say firstly just introduce myself.
Yeah, please.
My name is Dennis McCarter, producer, engineer, and owner and creator of Wax Cartel, which is essentially a sound design and composition company for producers and creatives who make music.
Okay, so you're more in the music world, where Zenan, you're more in the movie world.
Yes,
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, and then how do you guys know each other, first of all?
Well, we met through music. We have mutual friends who are musicians back in North Carolina. His friend, an MC named GQ from Oakland, spent some time in North Carolina working on music at a point in time, and we met through Q's travels back and forth, and from there we stayed in touch. So I was doing work out in San Francisco, and when I would go out there, I would reach out to him, and from there we just kind of stayed in touch over time, going back and forth on these trips, which turned into now a trip where we're both in Johannesburg, just actually on vacation.
It's great. I just love, how did you choose Joburg out of anywhere to go? Is it South Africa in general? Have you gone to Cape Town and the bush? And what's been the extent? What was the intention of Joburg and South Africa?
I mean, honestly, I've been here several times. Each time that I've come on this trip, I've been here in different capacities, musically, having to do some work
Okay, cool.
before and other trips, and just through exploring and getting to meet people and really get a feel for the atmosphere in the city. I just wanted to just return on a proper holiday, and I know Zenan had not had the chance to experience it, but we had some spare time, so we figured why not pop out for a couple of weeks and just enjoy the city before you all go on holiday. But we'll be back next year for the holiday properly.
Good. No, well, I think that's probably the most exciting thing, is that, for someone like myself, I always appreciate the wealth of knowledge that could come and visit us. And we've had a few of these kinds of guests on the show where it's like, you could really help. There's a dude by the name of Denham Richards, who was one of the actors in Yellowstone, and he's planted some roots in Southern Africa, and it's been great to have him constantly return to do masterclasses and chats. And we've had another guy who, based out of Hollywood, is a manager of people, like an agent. And he's also been on the show, and he's come back a few times to also try and find South African talent. Because we certainly have it, there's no question, but it's about how far it can go and how much the wings can spread. And so we appreciate you guys coming. But it's also nice just to have you as a chilled bunch of dudes on holiday, which is great. So did you grow up in North Carolina? Were you also there?
Well, I grew up in Oakland, California.
Okay.
And
where you're working now is still in California.
It's still in California. Yeah, and to kind of touch back on, how it all started. We met through music. One of my my earliest experiences just with sound was through music production, beat making. I was in high school. I had discovered, a program from one of my teammates who was kind of like making beats. I said, "Oh, that's really cool. How do you do that?" And he kind of showed me.
It's the 10,000 hours thing.
10,000 hours.
I'm one of those people. I've now realized it. I didn't know it for a while, but I've realized my love language is giving people books. And I do a lot of book shopping for our gift shop in the Bioscope. And every time I see a copy of Outliers, the Malcolm Gladwell book, where that is first sort of presented, this idea that, Schumacher was racing go-karts at 4, and the Beatles put in all their time playing in strip clubs in Hamburg, and how these accomplished people have spent often 10,000 more hours than their counterparts to create their careers and their talent. Reading this book is so inspiring, and I've got a few copies that I'm actually going to give out this Christmas, because I've got two nephews. I've got a niece and a nephew that are on the cusp of like high school, and I just want to say to them, like, you don't have to be Schumacher or Bill Gates programming or Tiger Woods hitting golf balls, but you've got to think now, by reading this book, where you are going to put your hours. And it could be to anything. It could just be baking for yourself, or it could be, in your case, it was beat making, and you didn't know it at the time, But all those hours of going, how are you doing this? How does this work? Before you know it, you've built enough of a career. You've put in your 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You're now working at Lucasfilm.
Yeah. And I think it's so important too on that note to expand upon how we think about sound opportunities too, because I think there is in the case of where you spend your 10,000 hours, I think a lot of people from an audio perspective think that it specifically needs to be maybe music related or
no, but you
or
could
one
become,
track. You can do
you could become the
sound.
expert on what bone crunching sounds like.
It's so vast.
And you've picked the best piece of celery to create that.
Yeah.
Or you've created this bank of things. And it's been fascinating to see the interesting instruments that have created a lot of the horror noises.
Yes.
Strange instruments, strange manipulation of sound and the wobbly sheets of metal and
it's not a lot of times it's not intentional. I mean, a lot of times it becomes intentional, but it starts off as just experimentation. You know, a lot of us are, you know, you're just in a pit with toys, with tools, with things. You go, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll try it with this. Maybe I'll pitch it up. I'll pitch it down, or maybe I'll try this other element completely. A lot of the sound, that you think about is just what does one item coming in contact with another item, what is the profile of that?
And also to remove your vision from it and just be like audibly, this actually sounds like something else. And you never would have thought.
Be open, have fun.
How does your viewing affect? I mean, I'm sure people ask you this, but I mean, you're attuned to it. You know, when I was with the Bioscope going through a phase where I was trying to understand lamps and the lamp of our projector, and I couldn't watch films the same way because I was staring into the darkness to see the level of detail and the contrast, and I was like, my whole vision of cinema has changed because I'm now aware of that.
Yeah.
How do you go about that? Can you shut off and just let the magic show work, or are you constantly wondering how they're doing anything?
I think once you understand it, it's kind of a Matrix red pill, blue pill situation.
Okay,
where,
and you kind of can't go back.
Yeah, you're able to control it. You can enjoy film, but you're always studying.
But I would imagine the best film, well, not the best film, but when it can successfully lull you into the magic, that you then go, wow, that's really done it.
Yeah. And a lot of times when it's, again, when it immerses you and you're not thinking about it, it's a little different, I would say, for me, just because, again, I'm always listening for, well, what did they do? What did they do? How did this pop up, or what tones are they using? But I think in general, really good sound is really seamless, and it's just supposed to immerse you. You're not really supposed to hear it, and you're not supposed to be able to point out, what someone did. You're just feeling it and experiencing it. I think that's what makes great sound. And a lot of times for me, I can't shut off, but a lot of times I don't want to shut off because it's such I'm always studying and always listening for inspiration or just appreciation of how, someone did something versus doing another thing. And a lot of people talk a lot about like Christopher Nolan's films. Sometimes they're like they're so loud, and like sometimes I can't like hear, the dialogue, but a lot of times his vision is for you to just be in the space. Yeah. Everything that we hear from day to day, we don't always understand or hear what a person says, or even when it comes to dialogue. Sometimes I'll be talking right to you. We may hear a word or two, we may miss a word or two and fill in the blanks, but I think that's part of the human experience. And I think
watching A Complete Unknown with Chalamet like mumbling as Bob Dylan, like that's on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great scene.
Because they would have re-recorded it if everybody in the room felt you couldn't understand him. Yeah. It's like, no, just let him bumble. He's a bumbling, in this case, young man, but he's going to become a bumbling old man. Yes. That's where that comes from.
There's a really funny scene I saw the other day from the Chair Company. It's a show out on HBO right now called The Chair Company. And
okay, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Side note, it's really funny.
Okay.
But there's a scene where he's like, "Hey, what happened at XYZ?" And he's like, yeah. He's like, I can't hear you, and he doesn't know what he's saying, and we don't know what he's saying as an audience. But then he just yells something else out, and we're right back where we need to be. Like whatever he was saying, obviously he said it because he's probably embarrassed about saying it. So do we really need to know?
No,
exactly.
exactly.
It's moments like that are, I think,
What are your picks, or what are your feelings in this kind of award season in general? Who do you think deserves some sound recognition? Because what are the Oscar awards? Is it just one award for sound?
I
there
believe
sound editing
for sound design. I don't think
I think
there's
they've
a sound
merged it, right?
Yeah, there's best sound design. I mean, one battle after another was pretty good. I think it was one of the films. Again, it was, for me, it was very loud, and intentionally loud.
Yeah.
To just keep you. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just kind of keeps you on your toes in a what's getting ready to happen type of way. Even the air itself is just.
Because that's a good point. Because sometimes you need to show that, what are those little insects, and you've got to show the humidity.
Yeah,
of
and
the
even the
air.
music too.
And like all that stuff set in the desert.
Yes.
Set in
and a lot of times it's what sometimes it is from what people say, helping to navigate that story, but just placing them in an environment.
Okay, so you think one battle after another could get it?
I think.
The score is amazing.
Yes.
So that's the other sort of more musical sound award.
Yeah.
That's Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead.
Yeah, it was a great score.
It's clinky clonky and it feels like it's all over the place, but it takes a really smart, educated, nuanced musician to make such chaos.
I like elements. I like elements like that, and I think well, there's another show too that does that as well.
Speaking of that, you've obviously come and visited our video store. Is there anything that you are returning? Dennis, what have you watched recently that you've loved?
I would probably say this TV show on Apple TV called The Studio.
The Studio, sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's
one of the big Emmy winners of the year.
It's great show.
Yeah, it's rare that you get original material that really feels just completely new and funny and really just pulls you into the atmosphere and environment. From my recollection, it's probably the only show that takes that lens and vantage point on the industry. It really gives you the chance to get some insight into what's going on, even if it's not exactly or even completely like that from an accuracy standpoint. It presents it in a way where
it gives you the pace of that world.
Right, and it makes it feel believable, but also gives you a chance to laugh at something that is very big and very serious to a lot of people. So, yeah.
Because Zenan, you in California, but where specifically is home
Oakland.
for you? Oakland.
Oakland,
so
yeah.
you've stayed in Oakland, which is Bay Area, right?
Yes.
Close to San Francisco.
Yep.
So you don't necessarily feel the intensity of LA as much.
Oh, sure we do. Well, I mean, it depends on.
But I mean, you in terms of the industry and the feeling of that world, you can be a little bit removed. You're probably getting more Silicon Valley intensity.
Yeah. I think that's the unique place too about Pixar is that we are probably, just because we're in, like, say, Hollywood, an extension of Hollywood via the way these films come out, but the feel is very much more like tech.
Yeah, because it is in the
tech
world of
environment.
that. Yeah,
and primarily too because the founder of Pixar is Steve Jobs, who started at Apple. We all know Steve's story, and when he kind of wrapped with Apple, he launched Pixar as his next venture. So a lot of the culture around technology and forward thinking, that whole thing has been kind of imprinted upon the fabric of Pixar, even from the architecture to the way he's designed inside the common area that we call the atrium is it looks like a train station.
very cool.
And the reason why is that he's encouraging people to get outside of their offices, have interactions that they otherwise would have to schedule or make time for. But you can see people in passing at lunch and say, "Oh, hey, I had this idea," or can we check on this and that. So it lends itself to more of a tech environment and something that's a little different from kind of appointment making that would need to be done in an LA type of space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to spend years in this Pixar headquarters.
Yes. Yeah. It's very. I mean, it's very cool. It's very, just from the design itself to the people. It really is a unique space where you're just meshing with creatives all day. From all aspects, whether that be sound, whether that be editing, whether that be, the animators that are there as well. It's a special place.
Lovely. Where is Lucasfilm going to be? Do you have to move?
No, it's in California as well.
There.
I always misquote the location, but I would say it's near San Rafael. But it's I always forget the location.
But I mean,
but
you can commute from Oakland?
Yeah. It's about 35 minutes or so. It's not too bad. And I think they used to be even closer, but they, because of the ranch and needing space to make a ton of noise.
Where is that ranch?
I always forget. It is.
Have you had a chance to experience that?
I have. There's a one of my
bunch of Star Wars nerds have just sort of gotten excited at this point.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they the area is
It doesn't matter. But what was that experience like for you visiting the Skywalker Ranch, which is famously George Lucas's kind of it's his residence, right? It's where he lives.
Yeah.
But it's where a lot of planning and work goes into Star Wars.
Well, yeah, one of my old one of my mentors, Gwen Yates Woodall.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah, she's a beast too. She's worked on some really cool stuff from Avatar to and Gone Girl. Like she's a dialogue expert. She's
okay.
But I when I first coming out of college. I had a professor who was friends with Gwen, and she had invited me to the ranch. And one of the directions to get there was like when you pass, you'll pass a big rock, and I'm like, I don't
know whether I'll be able to see the rock.
I'll be able to see the rock, and you wind up the road, and there's just this huge rock. I said, okay, I think I'm in the right area.
I think this is the rock.
Yeah, so you wind around, and kind of the estate opens up, and you see deer running across. It's just all this wildlife, this grass, this fences. It is space, open space, and you realize that there too is probably you spend a lot of time recording and getting sounds from the ranch itself, just because it's in such a
it's available to you.
The nature itself.
Did you meet George Lucas?
I did not. No,
okay.
No. I met John Knoll, who's the head of production there.
Okay.
Very cool people, really cool team, and they are just very excited to create new sounds. There's at this stage, Lucas has done all there is to do in terms of creating sounds for films. They could just tap into a library. You could just grab pre-existing things from another movie, but they're so passionate about what they do there. You start from scratch all the time.
Where did you study?
I studied at UC Davis, University of California, Davis in Davis, California. It's about, I would say, 15 minutes from Sacramento, an hour from Oakland, Northern California though.
What do you think makes you different from other sound editors? Why do you think you've thrived and moved, and now you're onto the sort of the mountaintop, as you said? What do you think it is? Hard work?
What
have you got a flair for? What are your attributes that you think make a good sound design and a good sound editor?
I would say a lot of, again, from a professional standpoint, a lot of it is the ability to be human. I think sometimes it's not really the technical. I think there are incredible editors, incredible sound designers, incredible people in their profession,
and they could be very, as you said, it's that world where it's like you're very technical, very nerdy,
and we're all that. We all have that, but when can we turn that off? When can we be just approachable? When can we be get outside of our rooms? We're such nerds that we
touch grass.
You have to do that, and I think it gives you the opportunity to to talk to people, to share your experiences with them outside of the day-to-day in a room. We all want to create. We all want to, if I could, I would stay in my room, 24/7 and just zone in on a thing. But in a professional space, and to be able to get to the next level and do things, you gotta get out. You gotta meet people. You need to.
It's the relationship and reputation.
Yeah, the relationships are very important. And it's having that balance, I think, in the two that has afforded me the opportunity.
That's lovely, man.
Yeah.
Great. Well, listen, whatever you are about to embark on, it sounds so exciting that you can't tell me. But it's very cool. And it's lovely to have met you guys. I think that's what I treasure the most. And it started for me when there was this incredible exchange program between my university, which is just up the road here, WITS, and NYU, where these amazing kids were coming every year, and I was just like, I need to get to know them because they are people that are pretty much all living in New York City, and they're giving up 6 months to come to Joburg. And I got to show them a good time, and I realized that maybe my future is in hospitality, because this always just seems like a natural thing to want to show and share and enjoy Joburg and what we have to offer. But also it was a matter of going like, these people are doing interesting things, and I want to get to know them, and I want to also, it's a little bit like what you're touching on here, this instinct of wanting to build relationships with people in a professional setting, because you kind of never know who's going to be what.
Yeah.
And where you're going to go. It's maybe a little selfish, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Where it's like you do want to be able to pick their brain and get to know them. So it is lovely to have met you guys.
It's lovely to meet you too.
Likewise.
I hope that you do come back.
Oh, well, again, just touching on what you're saying, that the world of sound, again, is so niche. And if there's any way, to share that information and to work with, I'm sure there's enthusiasts here and people that are, in Johannesburg
I've literally been thinking that ahead of your next trip, we're now, connected. You should give me as much of a heads up as possible, and perhaps we can do some kind of a workshop in the Bioscope.
Absolutely.
Or perhaps we can have some kind of masterclass, or it could tie into... We've got so many film festivals that are scattered across the calendar that perhaps one could slot into that.
Absolutely. Any way I can share knowledge.
Yeah.
That's as creatives and building that community, that's what it's about.
Totally.
Everybody kind of iron sharpens iron, and having those opportunities to share is how I got to be where I am. Right.
Yeah.
Just being able to share, what you know.
Lovely, man. Listen, thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate
hope to
it.
see you soon.
Appreciate it.
All right. What a lekker chat.
Cool, dude.
Yeah, it was so nice to pick their brain.
Yes.
And it was just interesting. Something that he touched on was that, when he was, this is in another conversation, and it's worth mentioning now, is that a live action can be locked.
Yes.
And he spoke about this locked picture. But something that he didn't mention now in this chat, which he mentioned earlier, was the fact that with animation, how vastly it could change.
Yes.
And you kind of never get this locked picture.
Exactly.
And so the sound design and the sound team becomes very much a production and post-production at the same time, because it's...
Like production and post-production are kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah, because it's not like you had to go and, shoot in the mountains.
Exactly.
And now you got to do post. It's like you're kind of doing it all at the same time. Interesting.
Yeah.
But great guys. I really appreciated them,
Cool.
and I really appreciated their time.
Nice.
Can we talk... Because we were also touching on in the chat about the studio
Yes.
and how it encapsulated just the energy of being in LA.
Right.
A nice thing to talk about with regards to that is the movie J. Kelly.
Okay.
Okay, so J. Kelly has just arrived on Netflix, and this is a film written and directed by Noah Baumbach.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, he's done some incredible films. Came out of the world of a sort of smaller indie stuff, Squid and the Whale, and he is famously married to Greta Gerwig, who did Barbie.
Yes. Which he also co-wrote.
which he co-wrote.
Yeah.
And so you would argue that this kind of very smart, very witty auteur writer getting involved in a big budget film like Barbie is arguably what gave it a lot of its heart and a lot of its smarts. We've spoken about this often on the show, how the sort of general stupid sort of studio mentality of, oh, well, now let's make a Hot Wheels movie. It's like, well, do you want to get a really smart, intellectual, witty writer to inject smart, intellectual wit? Because that was the success of Barbie.
Exactly.
It was understanding the politics of that product.
Exactly.
Not just a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And so what he's done is he's made this film starring George Clooney about a fictitious movie star who is very much George Clooney.
Okay.
In many ways.
All right.
It is Jay Kelly is an actor near the end of his career, but still incredibly famous.
Okay.
And a lot of what you get in the film is just how difficult it is for a person like that to exist in the real world.
Right.
How they have to go out in public and how they have to be in public. And really what it is a story about a guy at the end of his career and how he manages his relationships with his daughters, his agent, and what it all means. Because the people around him think he's got it all and he has it all, but you realize like he's quite a lonely guy.
Right.
And he's created this incredible fame and legacy, but doesn't have great relationships with his daughter.
Right.
And kind of has no one. He's surrounded by everyone, but has no one. And you just find him over the course of 5 days navigating this week.
Okay.
Where everyone's fanning and faffing around him, but he sort of, it almost feels like he's difficult, but he's trying to get to his daughter who's gone on this road trip, who kind of doesn't want anything to do with him at this point.
Right.
But he wants to try and see her. And Adam Sandler plays his manager.
Cool.
Who is a conflicted person in his life because in a way he's his only friend, but he's also works for him.
Right.
And you see this a lot in these kinds of stories where and it's come up in a few different ways, one of which was a terrible example in Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Okay.
The Idol, where you've got these people that rely on this artist to work because that's how they make their money.
Yes.
So they've got to coax them and they've got to treat them almost like a child
Right.
to get them to do the things that they want them to do because that's how they make their money. But they also want to help them. A good example of that done right was the relationship between Bruce Springsteen and his manager in the latest Bruce Springsteen film, where it's like, how do you get this troubled soul to do what they need to do, but still make it somewhat commercial or not, or just navigate their fluctuation in emotion. And of course it becomes heightened for the sake of the story.
Yes.
I think in real life it's perhaps not as bad as this, but you almost feel like these artists become these sort of weak little pieces of Play-Doh.
Yes.
And these kinds of people are manipulating them to sort of get what they want. And so it's very interesting. And of course, Clooney's just got that star appeal. But then he's also got that vulnerability in his eyes and that sort of panic. When you think of a film like The Descendants and how he's sort of running with his flip-flops down the path.
Yes.
You know, there's a few moments in this film where he also does a very sort of similar panicked run, which makes him feel quite vulnerable as opposed to a Tom Cruise, which is this kind of invincible run. And yeah, I think it's a lovely exploration on legacy, career, how you put certain things first, and relationships and what they mean. And you can't just turn around and have a relationship with someone.
Yes.
If you haven't looked after that relationship, it's not there. And despite what you think, those people aren't going to come for you. They're not going to help you in your later years if you weren't there for them. What it means to be a father. I thought it was interesting.
Okay, cool.
So Jay Kelly, really smart. It's one of those films like, know that it's well written, and go into it being aware of the writing.
Okay,
so
cool.
go into it and enjoy the writing.
All right.
Because it's smart. It's a little bit like Aaron Sorkin, who's one of the more celebrated writers.
Yes.
Listen to how the dialogue happens and how
Yeah.
two people are talking to each other, but they're not actually talking to each other. They're talking
Right.
at each other, over each other. And all of that is written.
Mm.
It's designed that way to be confusing. And he's having this conversation, but this guy's actually having this conversation, but he's not
Right.
listening. And then he picks up and then he comes back. It's frustrating, but that is how we talk.
Yes, it is.
It is how often these things happen, especially when you're in this fast-paced environment where you got to move through crowds of people and you've got to navigate this famous person as they do things. And
Okay.
so it's cool.
Good.
It's definitely worth your time.
I like the trailer. I saw the trailer and it looked interesting. It looked pretty good. I do think, well, this is more of a question. Often movies that are about movies have the tendency to be a bit like self-congratulatory or a little masturbatory.
Yeah.
But this sounds like it might be a little kind of rise above that a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
What is an example of that?
Oh my lord, I can't think of a direct example. It just comes up so often when a movie is about like filmmaking or an actor's playing an actor.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes about like celebrating how amazing actors are, you know.
Yeah.
As
No.
opposed to-
This isn't got
Okay,
that.
good.
No. This is very personal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Can I tell you about this other film?
Yes. Your Christmas movie.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
love these Christmas movies, and it's just worth having a chuckle about it.
Yes.
So this is a film called My Secret Santa.
Right.
Okay, and it's always funny to think like, what's at stake here? And what we have is a woman who is kind of a single mom, and her daughter really wants to go on a snowboard camp, like a
Right.
snowboard school. They're in this
Okay.
like Aspeny kind of mountain town,
Right.
small little town. But the economics of this is that she wants to go to. So it's not even like a great life-changing fancy college.
Yes.
You know, which was the case with that wrong Texas,
Oh, yes.
where you know what was at stake was trying to get the daughter to, or trying to get herself to this amazing school. This is like just snowboarding. This is like a snowboarding camp for the
Okay.
week, for the holiday season.
Right.
And she realized she doesn't have money. We are touched on the fact that she used to be in this like famous punk band, or somewhat
Okay.
famous, but a cool underground punk band, and she was a
Right.
singer. But she's left that life behind her. There's the meet cute with the main actor who was in New Amsterdam, which was the medical show
Oh, okay.
where he
okay.
comes in and fixes the hospital.
Right.
Really great in that. Like, he's a really good actor, this
Cool.
dude. But we've touched on this before. The old fairy tale is that you would meet this handsome guy who was a prince,
Yes.
a prince of a foreign land.
Right.
But nowadays, there's no such thing as foreign lands that you can be a prince of.
Yes.
Now you're the heir, or actually secretly very wealthy.
Yes.
So that's the case here,
Okay.
where she meets this guy who's the bad boy, who's going to inherit this huge property fortune.
Right.
And this town has a big holiday resort that this guy, his dad, owns.
Okay.
Amongst many other things. And he's been put in charge of managing this resort. But she figures out that she could, if she becomes an employee of this resort, the snowboarding lessons can be half price.
Okay.
So she's got to figure out a way to get a job at the resort.
Yes.
And she stumbles across the idea that they are looking for a Santa.
Right.
Okay? But she's like an attractive, like, I wouldn't say middle-aged, but sort of like 40-year-old blonde attractive woman,
Yeah.
mom. And we've already touched on the fact that her brother and his husband are really into Halloween and can make really cool costumes.
Okay.
Okay, you know where this is going.
Yes.
So they've seeded that, and now we are very firmly in a Mrs. Doubtfire narrative
All right.
where she has to dress up and become Santa Claus
Yes.
for this show,
Okay.
for this town, and deceives everyone, including her love interest,
Of course.
who opens up to Santa Claus and reveals certain things about his feelings towards this woman. It culminates in a event very similar to Mrs. Doubtfire, where she has to chop and change between the two on the
Right.
same night. It is all just a bit too stupid, but it's silly and it's harmless.
Okay.
But I just found it so funny. Like the moment it was presented, I was like, "Oh, we're in Mrs. Doubtfire now."
Yes. Oh, wow.
So it's silly, it's dumb, and it's on Netflix.
I was
and
about
it's
to
called-
say, this sounds like Netflix.
It's called My Secret Santa.
Okay.
So
Why not?
why not? 'Tis the season.
Yeah. You need dumb Christmas movies.
Yeah, we do. All right, lekker. Is there anything else to chat about?
You said you watched Train Dreams. What did you think of Train Dreams?
It was lovely. It's such a vibe movie.
Yes.
And it's just so gorgeous looking.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's just it's very much you got to be in the right place for it, and we can be quite distracted by our life when we're watching movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
You can very easily pause it and go and do stuff
Yeah.
and just not come back.
Exactly.
But it was lovely, and it's also really cool to also have the litmus test of my wife,
All right.
who is a normie.
Yes.
She just if the movie's good, she's in,
Cool.
you know, and just hearing her comment
Mm-hmm.
throughout the movie, like, oh shame, and he's
Oh,
going to do
right.
this, and will they come back, and where's the wife, and
Yes.
you know, like, and I just loved how it's a really good example for filmmakers and aspiring filmmakers to go. You got to find the remarkable in the unremarkable.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have these huge, crazy, unique plot points. It can be a very simple story, but if it's told with a lot of heart and you are really in it, because just short back of the boxes, this film is about this man's life
Yeah.
as he's a logger and as his world is changing and it's kind of out in the sort of kind of Wild West to some degree,
Yeah.
as the Industrial Revolution kind of kicks in, and where a fire could kind of ravage a town and change your life.
Yes.
It almost felt a little Wes Anderson in some
Right.
little capacities, where you have this one locked off frame and some beautiful composition, or even some kind of silly comedy
Yeah.
can happen without it being a stupid comedy. But there's
Yes.
just these little moments of kind of staged comedy, which I thought
Yes.
was cool. But yeah, it's a lovely film.
Yeah. I really liked it.
And it was a lovely kind of fertilizer for the soul,
Mm.
where it just sort of touches on what it means to be a human, what it means to
Yes.
be alive, what it means to look up and see the glory of the world.
Yeah.
I recommend it. But you got to have that. You got to be in a chilled
Yeah.
headspace to enjoy this, what we describe as a vibe movie.
Exactly. I think it's a put your phone in another room kind of movie.
Yes.
Like, don't let yourself be like, don't. It's not a second screen kind of experience.
Yeah, just because it's one of those movies where the composition is just so carefully done in a way
Yeah.
that others aren't, where every frame is this piece of art.
Yeah.
And so it definitely forces you to watch it, not just listen to it. So yeah,
Yeah. I loved it.
lekker.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you, my G-Force.
Yes.
Thank you for a lovely day.
Of course.
And yeah, it was so lovely to have old Zenan and Dennis pop in. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Next up is the 200, eh?
I was going to say number 200 next week.
Oh, can you believe it?
Freaking cool.
So yeah, we're going to make that our most rented.
Yeah.
So this is our best of the year. It's so nicely timed around our 200th. So
Yes.
I don't want to spend it with anyone but you guys
Cool.
as we go around and say our favorite films and TV shows of the year.
Yes.
Magic.
Amazing.
Cool. Thank you, my G-Force.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.